Hello, this is Jonathan Ober with the first of many screencast videos for the Harman Group WordPress website. I've gone ahead and opened up my browser to the web address, which right now is on my development server. Eventually that will just be harmangroup.com. And I have another tab here opened up, and can get rid of this and go to /wp admin. And when you go to that, it's simply going to refresh to this page, and we're going to get this little admin box, and I'm just going to log in with my username and password. Once that verifies who I am and I'm logged in, you're going to be greeted by our dashboard. I'm just going to go down real quick through all these different areas and talk about the WordPress backend and editing the site. So our dashboard is a quick glance at our website. We have how many posts and pages, some recent activity, quick draft abilities, and some WordPress news. Majority of your time, and this is directed towards Mary or whoever will be updating the site, will be on our post and our pages. There may be some other stuff within the site that you'll be doing, but what I want to do is come back over to our home page. I'm going to hit refresh, and I'll show you once you're logged in, you're going to get this little toolbar on the top of your pages, which will allow us to edit our page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Command on my Apple keyboard, or Control if you're on a PC, and click Edit Page at the top here. And what that does is that will open up a new tab, and once that's loaded here, it will show us the editor for our site. So you'll notice that over here on the sidebar, I'm underneath Pages, and we have our home page. We have some text here that corresponds to this text right here. And so within our editor, we have this edit area, and we have a visual and a text tab. Text tab simply is your HTML text. If you can write HTML, you can edit that way, but you're probably going to primarily be in our visual tab, which will look a lot different, a lot cleaner. You have edit buttons up here for your bold and italic, some list, horizontal line, some alignment, our hyperlink, the toolbar toggle, the ability to insert some extra stuff here like a table. We have our different headings to draw attention to content, and so just various buttons. But just like when using Word or writing an email, you can simply type your message, if I need to go to bold, I can do that. Italicize, I can highlight my text and just click through. So I'm not going to go through explaining that too much, but if you have any questions as far as the editing buttons, there is this little, you can click on that to get some help. Should bring up some keyboard shortcuts. And I mean, it's pretty all self-explanatory as far as that goes. There is also the little help box right here. Talks about the differences about pages, inserting media, and page attribute type things. And there's some documentation links that you can get to as well. But the primary part of our pages, like I said, is this content area, and then the other things that make the site work are going to be our published page attributes. And I can go into this little quick page post thing too as well. But basically what we have here is we have our publish box, which shows our content, and so our page attributes here, or not page attributes, sorry, our publish attributes. So right now our page is published, but you can edit that. You can have it be under review, or you can have it a draft. Basically, pending review, if somebody's a user but they're not an admin, they're an editor to the site, that will get sent out an email that this page needs to be reviewed before it can be uploaded. A draft is something you're working on and you don't want it to be public. You can also password protect pages or make them private. The difference here is password protected, you get a little box where you can type in a password, somebody can access that page. Private is they actually have to be logged in as an administrator to the site to see that page. So you might not deal with that, but that option is there to make password protected and private pages. We also have our revisions, which is basically just a history of our pages. If I would click on that, you would see the current page and a timeline, and you can scrub through to go back in time to any of our pages. You can also you can see at a glance the published date. Our page attributes here basically are just telling WordPress how to handle our pages and our subpages. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go underneath our THG difference page. I'm going to open that up in the editor so that you can see the difference between our home page and a subpage on the site. So I have our THG difference page. You'll notice over here we have a parent page, a firm overview. And what that means is when I'm here, THG difference, if you notice when I go to that page, up in our toolbar, our firm overview is our parent page. And so this just is for search engine optimization, letting people know that the THG difference is within our firm overview. It also is part of our navigation. So it just gives a hierarchy, sense of order. You want to put your subpages underneath their parent page. You can do that simply by selecting who's the parent. And you'll notice the child pages, they are indented underneath. We also have templates. We have a lot of templates because we have our template pages for our different featured projects, but primarily you'll just be doing a full width template for our pages. So that's at a glance the page editor. One thing that is kind of cool about WordPress is that you can link to content on your site. So let's say we want the THD difference, we want the text here, the structural engineering, to link to a page. We can highlight that text, click on our edit link. We have a couple different ways that you can link to content. You can type in the website address, the URL, and you can have that open up in a new tab if you want. Or you can come down here and actually search. So if I want to search for structural engineering, I can just type that in. You can see right here, structural engineering is a page. So I can click on that. You'll see it fills in the URL, puts in a title, add the link, and now that's right there. That's actually really nice. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this one as well. This is going to help cross-link our pages. So that's going to be the building facade. See if that'll find that because of the strange letter in facade. Let's see if we can find the building page. It's going to find any content that has the word building in it. So building is probably not the best word. So let's look up parking facility. All right. So there's a couple different things that show up there. I guess right now for this example, we're just going to undo these anyways, so we won't need to look. But that's a way that you can hyperlink content. So if you want to remove that link, you can simply click in there and just remove the link. So that's our page editor. All of our pages that are on our site are going to go down through the page editor. The ones that are different would be our featured projects, and I'll have to go over how to manage that a little bit later. But then we do have a couple other, we'll call them oddities. So let's swing over to our awards page. Let's close some of these out since we're not saving them. You'll notice our awards page has this nice gridded view of a table, and if I come over here, you'll notice on our page there's just this little table ID. We're using a plugin down here called TablePress. So if I command click on that and open up, you'll see our awards list is right here. So you can click on that. And that is right here, a gridded out table. Now, for you guys to edit this, it might seem a little hard, might have a lot of stuff going on in there. And so what I would actually recommend is you can export that list. So we want to export that list. You can export it as a CSV, and we want to leave those as comma separated. So we want to download, and WordPress is going to save that. And so now what I want to do is I'm going to open up that in my spreadsheet program. So I'm on a Mac, I have numbers running, but you can use Excel. You can open up that CSV, and you'll notice that it shows up a little crammed, but we have all these columns and rows, and we have all of our content. And so we can go ahead and edit that list as a CSV, and then we can export that again as a CSV. And then if you want to replace this, you can do an import, and you can choose your file. And what you'd want to do is you could replace that existing table, that awards table, and you can import that. Leave everything else as is. And then that would just basically go over top our list here. And you don't have to worry about any of the bolding or anything like that. Let's see what we have. And the different colors. That's all done in the style sheet. So you can make edits to those. And so once we add, if there's more 2013 awards, or if there's 2014 awards now, you can go ahead and edit that Excel spreadsheet. We're also using, I don't know if you noticed, but when we were here in our tables, we're also using that on our articles list. So if I come over here to our articles. Now that's done a little bit differently because we have our thumbnail. And so if I go into that, open that up in a new tab so we can see what we're doing. So our article list goes to that table 4, which is what we opened. Now this is a little different, and I can help with this. The reason I say it's a little bit different is, if you notice here, let's export this one. Articles, and yep, that's fine. So when I open this up, our 3 columns, you'll notice that there are some HTML in here. And the reason for this is because we have this gridded out thumbnail and text. It's not easily done through an editor in WordPress, and so what I've done is I've uploaded those pictures, I put in HTML hyperlinks, linking also to the image, and creating it at that certain size. I mean, you can obviously do this if you're familiar with HTML and upload all your images and link to them that way. But if you need help editing this, maybe on a year-to-year basis or every 4 or 6 months, I can help with that as well. So I don't want to save these changes that I've made. Okay. Let me just look to see. I believe all of our other pages are just normal pages. Okay. The other thing that I've done a little different is here. Not that page. Oh, I know. The team page. Okay, so let's go into that team page. So let's close out some of these just so we don't have too many tabs. Oops, leadership team. So in our team pages, we have these images. You know, in the editor, it's kind of all together. Basically, you know, you can insert these images and a paragraph of text, and then we're using this horizontal rule, which is right here. And then I have styled that so that this line always ends up at the end, and then it just pushes everything down. So changing that's not too hard, but I can, you know, definitely help. Again, sometimes when you start adding complicated layouts, managing it in the editor can be a little overwhelming. I believe that's the only other. Let me just double check here. Let's look at. Oh, you know what? Nope, I lied, because this one is done like that too. Alright, so in this one, I have some short codes here to give us our columns, and then I've uploaded our images with the hyperlink on it as well as the caption. And so these are just images and captions. And the way that they're done, let's just go all the way down. So let's say I wanted to add a new one. I'm going to just go ahead and go add media, and we can just bring this one in. We're going to give it a caption, the SCUP, and we want that to be that way. I've already resized the images to be that exact 220 by 150, and we don't want that file to link to that, so we want to do a custom URL, and that's where we're going to do the SCUP. I don't know if that's the actual address, but we'll, you know, let's. Is this it? This is probably it. Yes. Okay. So scup.org. And we're going to custom URL. You need to make sure you have that HTTP www because this is going to an external page. If you don't put that, the hyperlink will try to look for that address on your site. So we're going to do insert. So that puts that right there. So let's just temporarily update that because we already used the logo earlier, but this is just an example. We're going to go ahead and hit refresh. You'll notice we have that logo at the bottom with our little text right up underneath the caption that we added. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So you can just scroll all the way down. I can click. You'll notice if you just click on it, it brings up this X box there and an edit box. So I can just hit the X, get rid of that. So let's refresh that page. And that box is gone. Alright, so that's that page. We already talked about that. Alright, let me just double check here. Okay, so all these are, I believe we already looked at those. Yeah, all these are just standard pages with text. I'll come back to our featured projects because that one's a little complicated. We already talked about those. Okay, so our press releases now. This is going to be our blog feed. And so if I come over here to post, these, what do we have now? 6? Yep, or 5. Those 5 posts are our news items. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there. And those are post it, date it, in order of which you write them. And so if we just want to add a new post, you'll notice at a quick glance the editor looks really the same. And so what we want to do here is we're just going to do new posts for testing. Content goes here. And what we're going to do is we're going to let me just double check here. Okay, so we're just putting in the post content. Okay, and so let's go grab, just so you can kind of see how this cuts off. Let's get 5 paragraphs of ellipsum or generated text. Just gotta paste that in there. All right, and we want to make sure that that is a recent news item. Actually, you know what? These might be titled press releases, sorry. Let's do press release. I'll have to look at our categories to see what all we're using. So let's refresh that page here, press releases. So you see that new post for testing happens. It automatically cuts off at a certain character point. And then we're going to go ahead and continue reading. And there's all of our content. Now, let's say we want it to actually end here. I can go ahead and put this more tag in, and this should override the cutoff. And let's hit refresh. Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so I don't have that in there. The more tag is an old WordPress code that they've kind of kept it in here, but it doesn't. The newer sites don't use that, so that just cuts off at a certain place, I guess a certain number of characters. Our press release is, we want to tag that as press release, that way it shows up on our press release page, because if you notice here, our category is press releases. Oops, accidentally did a copy. Talk about the articles, so let's go to careers. That's just a normal page with some hyperlinks there. Contact page, that's just a normal page as well. Our footer information, let's believe that's over here. No. The footer information that's here, I put that into the code, so if your address ever changes or the phone number changes, I can show you where to edit that. If you go over here to Appearance Editor, that's going to bring up the actual code to the site. And then underneath here, we can go to footer. And if you scroll down here, we have our footer information. I coded in, there's our proposal link. If the address ever changes, you can edit that here, phone number. But I do have a couple things that are going to be some PHP code, like our copyright year, and then the years of excellence is automatically going to put in, if you notice here, it does 1984 to 2014. So in our code, it's calculating that time, and then it's echoing that date. So echo the year means 2014, and then the 30 will automatically change each year, so you won't have to edit that. But if you have any questions about the footer, just let me know. So now we want to talk about our featured projects, and for that I'm going to start another video, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop this.